Interview bias is a real thing. Just for a moment, let's picture that we have arrived for an in-person interview and we are talking with a recruiter or a hiring manager, and we're talking with them about why we're qualified for a specific job. I'm going to walk through different situations and scenarios when it comes to different kinds of bias. Now, before we begin, please know that most times, in most cases, bias like these that I'm going to describe is unintentional and often unconscious. When it is a conscious bias, it can be a form of discrimination and it can be against the law. There are a listing in a previous video that we published about protected classes and what they are and why, if you discriminate against a protected class, why that might be against the law. We cover that more in another video. Now, let's get down to interview bias. We're talking about the different types of interview bias and what to look for. My name is Jessica Miller-Merrill, and I'm the founder of Workology, and I'm the creator of the ACE the HR exam. We're a prep course for HR certification, whether it's SHRM or HRCI. Today, we're talking about interview bias. We're going to walk through some different types of interview bias, and these are important because this is content that is part of your HRCI or SHRM certification exams. You might be asked questions or scenarios that you have to think about and understand about the different kinds of bias. If you are in the job market or you're in the workplace, you also need to be familiar as a manager or as an individual, understand what bias is and identify the different types, hopefully to self-identify and to keep you as the manager and leader from doing these kinds of things. Let's get started. The first type of interview bias that we're going to talk about today is the halo effect. The halo effect is when one skill or ability of a candidate outshines above all the rest. Take, for example, that you are hiring somebody for maybe a systems architect position. It's a management position, so they need practical experience, but they also need leadership experience. Imagine, if you will, if that manager that's doing the interview overlooks the fact that they don't have any management experience, but focuses on the fact that they know how to do the job in IT, in that systems architect position, but they don't know how to be a leader or a manager. A focus on one skill above others is an example of the halo effect. The horn effect is the complete opposite to that halo effect. Imagine if your candidate arrived 5 minutes late. It doesn't matter if they're the best candidate, they had a fabulous interview, that hiring manager or recruiter is focusing only on the fact that they are 5 minutes late. That is an example of the horn effect. The third type of interview bias is affinity bias. And this is when we like someone because of their appearance, or they vote the same way we do, they have the same religious beliefs, or just interest in general. We want to like people who are like us, and that is what affinity bias is all about. The next type of bias is contrast bias. You are interviewing, picture yourself interviewing a large number of candidates, and you are making assumptions that are really inappropriate or not relevant to the job. You are focused on just who's the best candidate, and you lose sight of, you're throwing out the window, things like culture fit or whether they are a good mesh with a particular team. That is contrast bias. The next type of bias is stereotyping, and that's when you make a blanket assumption about a particular type of person or group. Sometimes these can be minority assumptions where you might say that all women make bad leaders. Not only is something like this possibly illegal, but it's just incorrect. Oftentimes a recruiter doesn't even know that they're making a stereotype. Maybe they say that everyone from an Ivy League school is really qualified, and you are thinking they're more qualified than anyone above all else. These are examples of stereotypes. HR is responsible for training managers and leaders within the organization about biases within the interview. We have to ensure that we are in compliance with federal and state employment laws, as well as those outlined by the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. It's our responsibility as HR leaders to ensure that our organizations are free from bias and our managers are aware of their existing biases and what they can do to help work towards eliminating them. My name is Jessica Miller-Merrill. I'm the founder of Workology and the creator of the ACE, the HR exam course. I'm so excited to have you here and be helping you through biases, what to expect in the hiring process. You can learn more about our offerings and courses over at learn.workology.com. Thank you for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Ring that bell. Sign up for alerts so you can get access to our latest videos for HR professionals, are working towards HR certification, or want to know more about workplace and leadership topics. I'll see you soon.